Welcome to another lesson of Argentinian Spanish for travelers and new residents. In this case, I will teach you all the vocabulary for a restaurant in Argentina. You will learn the keywords for a restaurant and how to order food in a restaurant. So, if you are ready to learn, arrancamos, che. The first word is mozo and moza. These two words mean exactly the same, whether it is masculine or feminine, and it means waiter. Waiter and waitress. As for example, I can say, mozo, ¿me das la cuenta? Can you give me the bill? Please, por favor. In Argentinian Spanish, we never say camarero or camarera. It doesn't exist. It sounds weird, actually. Always, in Argentina, it's always mozo and moza. If you're in a luxury restaurant, the chef is called chef or chef. In Argentina, I have never heard chef. Everyone I know, they all say chef. But still, some people maybe can say chef or chef. So you could just say chef, and that's the most common way we say it. You can perfectly call the guy who works there as señor or señora, or just say mozo or moza, disculpe, etc., etc. In a very formal way. We continue now with the carta, la carta o el menú. You could just say carta o menú. It's exactly the same. As for example, ¿te puedo pedir la carta? ¿Me das la carta? Can you give me the menu, please? El plato principal is the main dish, the main plate. In a restaurant, of course, they use a lot of this type of vocabulary. So now you know, plato means dish or plate. As for example, si yo voy a un restaurante, mi plato principal siempre es milanesa a la napolitana. If I go to a restaurant, my main dish is always milanesa a la napolitana. I absolutely recommend you to try this dish. It's the best Argentinian dish after asado, probably. Now we have the guarnición. The guarnición is the side dish. It can be the potatoes, fried potatoes, or just the fries, and it is called papas fritas. We don't say patatas, that's a Spanish word. We say papas fritas. Everywhere in Latin America, we all say papas fritas. Never say patatas. The following is la cuenta. La cuenta means the bill to pay. Now, we have a super common gesture, and you don't really need to ask or say la cuenta por favor. You can just do an Argentinian gesture, and we do all the time. You just lift your hand and say, and it means the bill. So he understands that you want him to bring the bill to pay. This gesture means the bill because we typically have to write in a bill. So you can say mozo or just this, and then this gesture. He will understand and then he will bring you the bill. Or you could also just say, ¿me das la cuenta por favor? ¿Te pido la cuenta, porfa? That's the native way we say it as well. We continue now with the propina. La propina is the tip. La propina, the tip to pay. As for example, ¿cuánto es la propina de acá? What's the tip for here? ¿Necesito dejar propina? Do I need to leave a tip? We normally do pay tip. It's not a lot as in the United States, but we certainly do it. But I would recommend you that every time you go to a restaurant in Argentina, you should pay or give a tip. Reserva y reservar. Reservar is kind of like to book or to reserve. Reserva is a reservation. As for example, I can say, necesito reservar una mesa para mi familia. I need to reserve a table for my family. Now with a reservación. Por ejemplo, ¿este lugar necesita reservación? Does this place need a reservation? Another usual word, it could be con anticipación. Con anticipación o de antemano. It means beforehand or in advance. Reserva con anticipación. You need a reservation with anticipation or beforehand. Postre is a dessert. Typically in Argentina, after eating something, for a dessert we have ice cream. We typically have ice cream after a common asado we're having with our family. So in a restaurant, you can also have a typical Argentinian dessert, which is just an ice cream. I would recommend you to try the helado de dulce de leche ice cream. Una servilleta es a napkin. As for example, you can say something like this. Mozo, mi mesa no tiene servilleta. ¿Me das una? Waiter, my table does not have a napkin or does not have napkins. Can you give me some? Or can you give me one? When you get to a restaurant and the waiter asks you, what do you want? You can now answer. You can answer if you want the main dish, el plato principal. You can answer if you want a dessert. And now you only need to know about the drinks. Drinks, in Argentine Spanish, we call it bebida, or algo para tomar, something to drink. As for example, typically in every restaurant, you would just ask for Coca-Cola, Fanta, 7-Up, etc. Or just jugo de manzana, apple juice, or something like that. So if the waiter says, señor, ¿qué quiere para tomar? ¿O qué bebida querés? You can just say, quiero un jugo de manzana. I want an apple juice para mi bebida, or my drink. Remember that in Argentinian Spanish, we never say beber. We just say tomar. Tomar in Argentina means to drink, or it means to take or grasp or grab something. But we typically never say beber, or at least in Buenos Aires. For the other provinces of Argentina, we have kind of some different with the other parts of Argentina, but typically, if you go just to Buenos Aires, we always use the same words, and it's exactly the ones that I'm teaching in this video. Sure, in Argentine Spanish, we say silla, silla. It is not silla because we have our own different pronunciation. It is called silla, chair. Necesito una silla. I need a chair. Un sillón means a sofa. You can also say sofá or sillón, but we typically just say sillón. It is way more common, it is way more native for an Argentinian person. So you can say, ¿puedo sentarme en un sillón? Can I sit in a sofa? Typically, restaurants in Argentina have sofas or chairs, so you can choose. Then if you go to the bar zone within the restaurant, we have the little stools, right? The stools or the bench. Bench and stool is called banco or banquito. Un banco means a stool or bench, and banquito is mostly 90% like a stool because it's like a little bench. So we just say banquito or banco. As for example, vamos a sentarnos en los banquitos o vamos a sentarnos en el banco. It means let's sit in the bench or let's sit in those stools. And some other important words you have to know when it's time to pay. We're talking about now the efectivo. El efectivo means cash. This gesture means cash, right? I think it's the same in America, it's the same in the United States and in Europe. The same gesture. It means cash. Then the QR is called QR. QR. Q means Q, that's the name of this letter, and R is the name of the letter R. In English you would say QR, and in Spanish we say QR. ¿Puedo pagar con QR? Can I pay with a QR? ¿Aceptas efectivo o aceptan efectivo? Do you accept cash? Tarjeta is the card, so you can say, ¿aceptas tarjeta? Do you accept card? Now, in this part, I will teach you how you can order food in a restaurant or any other food store. We typically say me das o te pido. Me das means do you give me, but it means can you give me. We never ever say in Argentina and in Spanish, we never say can I get or can I have. That's too English. It is only said in English. Not in Spanish from Spain, and even less in Argentina. So never ever say that. And that's why it is super important to learn Spanish from a teacher and not from your Google Translator or from ChatGPT. Because you don't know whether or not we use those words and you can have a little problem. So that's why I would recommend you to trust somebody who knows about these topics. So if you cannot say can I get or can I have, what can you say? Well, as I told you before, we say me das o te pido. Me das means do you give me, meaning can you give me. Te pido means do I ask you, meaning can I ask you for. And that's the way we typically say in Argentina. So for example, let's say you would like to have a milanesa with napolitana. We say, hola mozo, ¿me das una milanesa a la napolitana? Hi waiter, sir, can you give me a milanesa a la napolitana? Or for example, hola mozo, te pido una milanesa a la napolitana. Hi waiter, hi sir, I ask you for a milanesa a la napolitana, please. Now, this is the most native way to say it and the most common way to do it. But you can also just take the simple way, which is just like this. Hi, I want this, please. That's the most common way we do it, and that's accepted. You can say it. It's perfectly fine. In English, it certainly sounds rude, but here in Argentina, that's the common way we say it. So if you go to a restaurant, you just say, hola, quiero una milanesa, por favor. It is perfectly fine. Nobody will get offended. Nobody will think you're rude because that's the most common way we do it. So here you have 3 different options you can choose to order food in Argentina. In this video, you learned how to order food in a restaurant and all the key vocabulary for a restaurant. And I would also like to tell you that everything you have learned today, I teach all of this in my programs. I work one-on-one with my intensive programs to learn Argentinian Spanish for travelers and new residents. What you have just learned is a very little part of what we learn in my program. What are my programs about? I have 3 different programs. The first one is to reach the survival level. In 1 month, we work intensively for exactly 30 days, not missing any single day. What result will you have after working with me with this type of program, with a 1-month program? You will be able to survive in Argentina. That means you will be able to go to store and buy things, travel, talk with people, make reservations for your hotel, Airbnb, go and buy things. Basically, you're fully prepared to survive in Argentina in a record time in just 1 month. Then in the rest of my programs, which are more intensive and it takes longer, you will have even a much better result. As for example, in my 4-month program called Travelers to Argentina program, we work for 4 months to reach the traveler level. That means you will be absolutely fully prepared for all of these contests I told you before. In a month, we cannot do much, but I can at least prepare you to survive in Argentina. Now, in the second program, you will have a much better result, a much better Argentinian Spanish that will allow you to travel freely and not needing anyone and anything to travel in Argentina. And to travel and survive, of course. Then with the last program I have, which is the most intensive one and the most powerful one, is the new residents program. It is specifically for new residents and people that are really committed to speak Argentinian Spanish because they want to start living here. Or just for people that really wants to speak Argentinian Spanish and be fully fluent in Argentinian Spanish. So depending on what you want, what you would like to do in Argentina, you have 3 different programs where you can start. In today's lesson, I just taught you a super little part of what we do in my personal programs, one-on-one. So if you would like to know more, in the description you have the link and there you can contact me. Muchas gracias por ver este video y nos vemos en otro video. Chao, chao.